Jay Martinez with Fight Hub TV here with George Kambosos Jr, Javiel Centeno.
Yeah.
Great night of boxing, obviously not the result that you were looking for. Talk to me a little bit more about the fight. Possibly what George could have done a little bit more differently to secure the victory here in Melbourne.
Yeah, loss is always a tough pill to swallow, right? But look, Haney fought a smart fight. He fought a safe fight. He has a great jab. He's an excellent fighter. George, I feel if he would have started off a little bit quicker and a little bit more aggressive, going forward and not allowing Haney to bank some of those rounds, it may have been a much closer fight. Look, we live and learn. We would take nothing away from Haney and his team. They did an excellent job, both in the corner and Haney just came out and was the better guy tonight. But George is strong. George will be back. He's looking forward to the rematch. There are certain adjustments that that we see now that we need to make. But going forward, it's going to be a nice. Now we have something to look at, against George, and we'll make those adjustments and come back stronger.
What adjustments can you make going into the rematch? Because George has stated that he wants to jump into the rematch immediately at the end of the year. It's in the contract.
Yeah, well, it's a contracted rematch. I think for sometime maybe November, December. I think. But look, it's taking. Look, Haney live and dies behind that jab, and it's a matter of just taking that jab away from him. Making him uncomfortable. Keeping him on his heels, not just going backwards. He's comfortable going backwards. But making sure he's sitting on those heels and executing, letting his hands go a little bit more. George, kind of held back a little bit today, but it's boxing, man. He like I said, he'll come back stronger and more determined. He's a very determined fighter. No one likes to lose.
Yeah.
And
especially at home,
he's gonna hold this, and he's gonna struggle with it for the next couple of days. But that just makes him stronger. That's gonna make him hungry.
What were you telling George Kambosos going to the mid rounds of the fight, moving forward? What were you telling him in the corner?
Well, as he started to get into a little bit closer range, you can see he started to really attack that body. He just needed to put more punches behind that initial attack. But again, Haney adjusted well, started moving, started holding when, whenever he missed, he dropped right in and did kind of like a b-hop. You miss a shot, hold on. So, look, it's part of boxing. It's something that, we knew he was going to do. But George has to make that adjustment.
Going through the last few rounds, obviously a trainer knows how, the fight is moving, the momentum per se. Did you or Kambosos Sr. tell George, hey, you're gonna need a knockout here?
We did. Not necessarily a knockout, but we knew that those closing rounds, he had to close out those rounds strong. I felt he did come on in those last couple of rounds. I haven't seen the scorecards. I really have to see the fight, one more time and just really analyze the fight. But I thought he closed out strong. I just needed that same. Aggressiveness, early on.
The aggressiveness that he had towards Teofimo Lopez.
Correct.
Basically what we're going down to?
But again, Haney fought smart. Guys will adjust according to what's laid out in front of them. Haney did his thing. He did his thing. All props to Haney. But we're gonna have him back in November. So it's we'll make all the adjustments we need to make. I'm sure they will as well. They're going to be running on a high right now, just as George did, coming off the Teofimo fight. But this is what boxing's about. It's about two of the best guys fighting each other. And keeping that going. A lot of these lightweights just aren't doing that. A lot of fighters, not just lightweights. A lot of fighters just aren't making that commitment to fight the best guy out there. And these two, you got to give them all the props in the world. Haney comes out from America and comes down here, and and George just took that fight, took that risk. Again, he could have taken anybody. He could have done a mandatory, defense.
Exactly.
But that's George's character. George wants to be challenged every fight. It's always a dangerous fight when you're fighting, the elite. But George doesn't mind that challenge. He wants to fight the elite guys.
Any moment during the fight or during the week did George feel pressure? Obviously, the talks was about the not being on weight at the first attempt. we could say, you could say it was the skill. That's always a topic of conversation. Sometimes the skill that in your own hotel, the skill at your own gym compared to the one here.
Look, yeah,
Do you believe
the whole scale debacle was? I mean, that's exactly what it was. Just a debacle. I mean, the scale both on Haney's side and our side just never stopped. I mean, that scale went from 134.7, I think it was, all the way up to like 135.8, and then just kept fluctuating up and down. They just arbitrarily stopped at a certain weight because it was kind of like the average. But when we stepped on the scale earlier in the day, it was solid 135. In fact, when he took off his trunks and got on the scale, the weight went up.
Yeah.
So there was just way too many people on that stage. The boards were just moving up and down, and that's the reason why that scale just never stopped. And again, even on Haney's side, the scale just kept going up and down, and that's more of an operational issue. And I'm sure the commission in Victoria has learned the lesson. That floor was way too soft as well. I mean, as you walk, you can feel your legs sinking into that floor, and as soon as a guy steps on a scale, that's gonna go ahead and completely throw that out of whack. But be it as it may, George went back, peed, hung around with his kids, and just played with them for a while, and then came back out and made the weight, and it was way under. So that's what it is, and there was really nothing behind that.
Yeah.
So.
Coach Centeno, I know we're far away from home, Florida, Dallas,
Yes.
Dallas, Texas. So I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night, and looking forward for the rematch here in Australia.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking with Fight Hub TV.
man.
Thank you so much.
All right.